Okay.
George, would you want to begin with some statements and then I
Yeah.
can begin, or yeah, please.
Thank you. Just give me a few minutes. Yeah. Hi. Good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. This is George. I look after APAC. Uh, I think Mongolia and Malaysia and Singapore have the same time zone, so I think we should have no issue in terms of the turnaround time and the support as well. So I'm based here in Malaysia. I'm actually on my way to my flight at the moment, so that's the reason why we have to ask Ambrose for help. But you can always feel free to contact me if you need any assistance. I'll be reachable by WhatsApp, and I will leave my number in the chat group if you need any assistance. Feel free to contact me. And for Segura, we have in APAC, we have closed the Singapore, the biggest cybersecurity in Singapore with 55,000 employees under ST Engineering. Is owned by Singapore government, and they are currently using Segura. Previously from CyberArk, now is moved to Segura. In Jakarta, we have the BCA, the biggest bank in Jakarta. Previously using CyberArk, now moved to Segura. And in Malaysia, the cybersecurity Malaysia is using Segura to promote cybersecurity in all the government sector in Malaysia. Same in Philippines, the GSIS government-owned agency uh, is also using Segura, and that's the reason why we are here, just to meet and greet the government people in Philippines, and same also in Vietnam. The Ministry of Defense is using our product as well, the Segura, and also in soon to be in Australia. So Segura actually is only, I would say, focused in 1.5 year in APAC, but we have closed more than 50 accounts within that short period of time. And the reason why is that we had very strong customers feedback about our support and our product in terms of reliability and easy to manage, easy to deploy, time of value. So instead of waiting for 6 months, you can just deploy our system within a month or less than a month if it's not too complicated. Again, you'll be able to see how easy to use our system, how easy to deploy our system, and how easy it is to support, because we are um, one full stack solution. So when I say one full stack solution, is that in the future, should you have any problem with your PAM, with your privileged access management, you don't have to go to your OS. You don't have to go to your database, or you don't have to go to your any dashboard. You only have to go in one Windows, one dashboard, which is Segura, and you can easily check what's the root cause of the issue. So you don't have to keep on checking, oh, is it an OS issue or is it a PAM issue? And if there's an OS upgrade, will it affect my PAM? Yes, it will affect. So that's the beauty of Segura, because it's a full stack solution. So we provide you the database, we'll provide you the OS, and you don't have to buy so many servers. And I mean, if you have experienced other PAM before, you might notice that they will ask you to purchase 6 servers or maybe 12 servers, or minimum with high availability servers. For example, they will ask you to buy application servers, database servers, gateway servers, and then if you need to have a high availability, so you have to double that number of servers. And you also need to buy OS, you also need to buy database, which is something that you don't find in Segura. And that's the reason why uh, you have total cost of ownership. The total cost of ownership is way cheaper compared to other brands. And the time of value, meaning to deploy, is much more cheaper because you don't have to deploy the OS, to deploy the database, and after 1 month, then only then you deploy the PAM, manage the credentials, so you have to wait another 2 months. So you don't have to do all that. So in Segura, it's like deploying a VMware into your server, and you will have your PAM ready in just few days or few weeks. That's the beauty of Segura, and that's the reason why we are able to penetrate the market within a very short period of time, and we have captured the biggest cybersecurity in Singapore, in Philippines, and also in Indonesia. So with that, I will leave it to Imros, and thank you, Imros, for joining us because Hara and I, we have visited one of the government here in Philippines, and we have closed the deal for the government sector. And Hara just he's flying at the moment, and I'll be flying in few minutes time. And and thank you in advance and Rose for taking over. I really appreciate it. And with that, I will leave my number in the WhatsApp in the messaging area. You can always feel free to contact me if you need any other assistance. Thank you very much. Rose, go ahead.
Thanks, George. Happy to help. And thanks, everyone, for joining this session. I will try not to bore you. I'll try to catch with some right points, which will actually help you with your privilege access management strategy and also some points about how the future scaling of privilege identity is happening and what you should look at. So basically, let me start with what is Segura 360. So when we talk about Segura 360, the word 360 means we cover every aspect of privilege management, be it human identities, non-human identities, secrets, API keys, workforce password management, and everything from the single platform, which should actually be the case going forward. The security should be lean, and that's what we are trying to make. The security lean and more efficient and more easy to operate. So basically, what's Segura? Segura started more than 22, 23 years old company, started with security password management solutions, and the platform became huge. And right now, it's one of the leading platform, and I would say one of the only one or two solutions, such solutions, which has that big comprehensive portfolio to manage to operate your privileged management capabilities of an organization. Segura right now is present in over 70 countries. We have customers across multiple continents. Okay, and one of the best aspect of Segura is that we are completely customer oriented companies. So the whole UI built, the purpose built integrations, the operational model and everything was built with the perspective that if a customer chases this solution, how easy it should be for them to manage, because you can buy world's best solution and you don't use it, and there's no point if you can't use it properly. And this is how we made it very simply, by providing the complete life cycle of your privilege management. Again, we are Segura. We were known as Senior Segura until earlier this year. We went complete international, and the change of the name reflected our international approach, where it showed that it should be easily known, it should easily be spoken about. And from Seni Segura, we became Segura. And again, we all know why protecting privileged credentials is important, right? We know that critical credentials are everywhere, be it in your servers, be it in your Active Directory, be it in your applications, Linux, in your network devices, or anywhere. They are so much scattered that one single compromise is enough to bring down the complete organization. And where are they present? They can be accessed anywhere from any time. They should be able to access anywhere securely. Should be fully auditable. Okay. It should cater to not just internal but even to your third party users. It should be also cater the credentials across your clouds, your different type of operating systems, databases, network devices, and then be able to, get right integration capabilities or auditable reports to give you right vulnerability assessments. We do comply with a lot of other compliances. If you see here, we have, GDPR, PCI DSS, SOX, NIST, HIPAA. We comply with all these regulations. And what does PAM do? Again, I will not tell about what PAM does. Most of us right now know, because PAM is now a well-known solution everyone knows. But one thing which we need to know is that, we are trying to protect all types of credentials, be it human, non-human, be there are secrets in your DevOps pipeline, be that your certificate life cycles, everything are protected through our solution. Yeah, I'll not get into this flow. Everyone knows usually the flow. Okay. Wanting the credentials, authenticating them, restricting them using the access policies, and provide integrating with the right and federating identities for the authentication of the users, audit all the activities, monitor and record all the sessions, okay, and provide the metadata and everything. This is which we really proud about. Every known analyst knows about it, talks good about us. We are very well known across Gartner, Forrester, and Koppinger Cole as leaders in terms of customer choice, in terms of functionality, operationality, and we also are someone who actually brings down, as George said, the cost effectiveness. We reduce a lot of other dependency costs, which typically a standard PAM brings into the picture here. This has been our Gartner journey from 2016. We have been very consistently known, and we have been consistently ranked as customer choice award since 2021. Every year we have been ranked as a customer choice number one ranked. In 2021, we were in Magic Quadrant. Again, that's a different story. It's North American revenue. We will be back in Magic Quadrant, but again, that doesn't show you the technical capabilities. Technical capabilities or the product users lies at this coverage and this one. We are ranked 98. We have 98% recommendation across the spectrum. And this is our architectural diagram. So if you observe carefully, a user typically without PAM accesses the password, directly accesses their critical assets, right? With Segura, what happens is the user logs into the PAM, okay, using his AD or local account, and the MFA is passed, okay, and he logs in into the system. Based upon the authorizations he has, okay, he will initiate a session where the password will be delivered through the PAM. Okay, command filter will monitor what he can do, what he cannot do, and the sessions are taken over. During these sessions, our auxiliary systems will typically monitor or check for the risky behavior and define the complete traceability matrix. Once the session ends, okay, the password is rotated and saved back into the vault. This is how the complete rotation happens. However, I will not get into these parts, but this is something a very specific. We have mentioned CyberArk here because they are the nearest competitor in terms of the similarity of the architecture. But it's true in case of almost every PAM provider in the market. What happens? Before you buy the PAM solution, people will ask you to buy an operating system separately, a database separately, provide 3 to 4 different servers. Then your IT team is working on its internal patching, hardening that, and then you have other networking team opening the ports and all. That becomes a huge mess even before you bought a PAM solution. You don't want to spend 50, 60, $70,000 just to build the whole infrastructure, whereas the licenses might be costing 20, $30,000 or sometimes less. You don't want to do that, right? You want a solution which say, I am buying the licenses and I am buying the services. That's it. I don't want to spend so much. This is where Segura brings a lot of flexibility. You simply bring the OVF file, deploy it, start, bring the compute, deploy it, start using it. It's as simple as that. This reduces your infrastructure dependency costs, your operational costs, and the time to get ready for your product to start is reduced drastically. It's all inclusive prices. You don't need to purchase multiple things. You just have one single VM with everything inside it, which actually reduces your costs. Again, I will not get into too many things, but this is something which you need to know. This is our platform, and these are all the modules available on the single platform here. What are these modules? Every module cater to one specific aspect of the privilege access management. During our demo, I will be able to cover only a couple of aspects because the platform is huge, but we are talking about password manager for your workforce. We are talking about PAM, privilege access management for your internal users. We have remote access for your third-party users. We do the complete certificates lifecycle management on the same platform because we already host your critical credentials and assets here. We have a very strong discovery capability, which can discover across the spectrum, be it Linux, Windows, be it on domain, be it in cloud, be it certificates inside your organization or inside your containers, everything. We also run discovery inside your DevOps environment and manage the complete pipeline secrets, which is something which very few people in the market does right now. We also manage the endpoint privilege management for your endpoints. And also we have Cloud IAM where we manage the provisioning and deprovisioning of the credentials or the users on multiple clouds from the single point, where you save a lot of cost for your Cloud IAM solutions, Cloud IAM modules, and plus you have single pane of visibility of your cloud entitlements. This is the complete spectrum. I will not get into the other slides right now. This is just one last slide before I jump into the demo. But if you see the complete pizza, we have Pamcore, Domum, MySafe. Uh, all of these modules come on the same platform. You just enable whatever the module you want as per the license and start using them. And it is that easy. Why it is important? Your maturity, cybersecurity maturity or identity security maturity goes on as the time grows, right? So you start with your PAM and then third party users, and then slowly you extend this to, workforce management, then to your least privilege across your endpoints. Then we have DevOps secret management across your development environments from your, test UAT to dev production environment. You can move your complete code securely, manage the cloud entitlements and certificate lifecycle. Before I start the demo, please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to stop the share for a moment and then I can jump into this. Please do let me know if you have questions until I log in into my development environment.
асуултууд байна уу? Асуулт байлаа. Imrose, are you going to show any demos after this?
Yes, I'm logging into my demo environment right now.
Okay.
This will be brief. I would want people to see the demo and ask the questions because the platform is so huge. We can't go through many of the aspects. I will try to show the platform, log into it, start some sessions.
Okay. Асуулт байвал нөгөө Q&A хэсэгтээ бол тэгээрэй. Тэгээд одоо товч демо үзүүлэх гинэ.
I hope you all can see my screen. I am logging into my PAM. And this is our inbuilt MFA, which I'm using. I'm integrated with Google Authenticator. It's inbuilt. You don't need to purchase. So one advantage, you don't have to worry about bringing an MFA solution from outside. Very simple to configure and easy.
Mm-hmm.
And please don't mind the speed. I am actually in the middle of an event, so I'm connected to my hotel network, so it's a little slow. However, hopefully it should be good enough. So if you can see my screen, this is the platform which we are talking about. The whole platform. We have PAM core, Terminal remote access, MySafe. Whatever the license you enable, those modules will be available. And you see Discovery Task Manager. These two come with every module. No matter what you do, whatever the module you purchase, Discovery and Task Manager automatically are attached to it. So before I jump into any specs, let me go and show you the UI here. Let's go to the PAM core all credentials. Now let's say that you have a list of different type of assets in your organizations. It can be your Apache server, AWS, Access, you have Azure, you have a lot of different type of assets here. Let's start with a Windows server. Let's say that you have a Windows server here, okay, which can be accessed using this credential, okay. So when I'm trying to launch a Windows server, I can start the session directly on the browser. However, I can decide, do I want to provide the complete access to the Windows server or should I only give access to the part of the server? Because Windows server has multiple components. Why do you want to give access to any component, every component of the server, right? So you can decide. So here, if I start the RDP, you will see that the session will launch directly on the browser and the credential injection will happen automatically, seamlessly, and the session will start. And this is fully recorded. Now, yes, I can use the native RDP client also to push to start the RDP session. However, uh, we have this facility also, and it doesn't lose. You don't lose any features, or you don't lose any functionality when you start the session over the browser. Now you see this session has started. Let me move this part a little, and you see here, this session is being fully recorded. So if I go to audit, and I go to sessions, remote sessions, you will see that the live stream of this session is going on. This is the session. This is the live session. So you see the mouse movement. What I'm doing here is live and instant. So whatever I do is instant and it's fully recorded. Now, some of the things will be like if I am starting the RDP session on the browser, if I need to move the files in and out of the session, how do I do that? Very valid question, right? So whenever you have this, we have something called as G drive. It's a virtual drive. Whenever a session starts, that virtual drive is automatically mapped to this session. This one. Whenever I need to move any file in and out of this session, it's very easy. I can simply pick that file. I can drop it to this download folder inside the G drive, and it will be available to download on my desktop. You see, I can download it. Similarly, I can drag and drop a file in here to this G drive, and then I can move it inside this session. It is that easy. This is something, uh, again, this functionality can be configured. You want it to be configured or not, it's up to you. Some might be critical servers, you don't want the files moving in and out. And some of the files you might get there. So this is something about Windows. However, I will show you about the Windows session, something like we will not be we don't need to launch the complete Windows session. What we do is we only take one session. So I'm starting the session, only a part of the server. So let's say that this is a server and I don't want to give the full access to the full RDP server. I only will give the DNS console. So observe carefully what's happening here. Now you'll see that the launch and everything will be smooth, except you'll observe that only the DNS snap-in will be available, nothing else. So you see the session has started. The DNS MNC console the snap-in has started. The user can only see this and work here. He will not be able to do anything else. Even if he minimize this, nothing is visible except this part. And this brings a very good control over the lateral movement. You will not be able to do lateral movement or anything. And if I close this MNC console, it closes the session. And again, how difficult it is to configure? It's very easy to configure. And it brings you much more secure access towards this. Other than that, I will go through one more session of a Red Hat server. We have a Red Hat server here. When we are accessing this Red Hat server, you see I am accessing this credential root using root credentials, right? So let me launch this session. Again, I will launch this SSH session over the browser. And once I launch this session, it will ask me to get the approval. Now imagine that you are trying to get an approval because of some emergency and the manager is not available. What happens then? Then you have something from our platform, we have something called as an emergency access. So I can easily provide the emergency access. Say justify, it will try to throw me to the emergency access because the manager is not available and I have enabled the emergency access. If I do not enable the emergency access, I will not be able to. So right now it's enabled and you will see that it's just checking internally and use emergency access. And I will justify this emergency access. For now, this is for the demo and use emergency access. So what happens here is basically it will check all the conditions. It will check the validations of the access criteria like time, configurations, and it will inject the credentials automatically. Once the credentials are injected, you will see the session starts. And you see I am logged in as who am I? This is very important to understand that even though I'm logged in as a root, I can run any command, right? So let me run certain commands which will generate audit logs. So I'm running a command which is time and I'm generating an audit log has been created, but this command was allowed to me. So I'm able to run it. Even though I'm logged in as a root, if I try to run some commands which are not allowed for me, what happens? Simply the command will be blocked, even though I'm logged in as a root. It's a very nice feature to have because you can control what the user can do and what user could not do. And this is something very important, especially in the SSH sessions, because most of your Linux machines will host your critical applications, servers, and all that, or services. Now let's do one thing. Let's talk about monitoring here. Let's go to the dashboard. In dashboard, we will go to something called as Threat Radar. It's a very unique feature. The other competitors are also trying to bring it up. It's actually a very good feature where you're turning uh, live monitoring into what do you say uh, the reactive solution to a proactive part. So you see here there are two dots. You can see there is a one green dot and one orange dot. So imagine that you have multiple sessions going on. You can't jump into every live session. You need to know which session is important and which session is not, right? It actually gives you a quicker response times and perform certain actions over that. So green dot means it's a low risk session and orange dot means it's a high risk session or medium risk. So you see, this is the user who's trying to access a Red Hat server using root credential. Okay. And the risk score is 55 here. Now, clicking here, I can jump into the live session or I can drop the session, okay, or I can get the details, metadata of this session. So let me jump into the live session. You see this session, whatever we are doing, it's live session. I can try to just kill the session from here, okay, or I can say, okay, it's not risky, let me continue the session. It's up to me. So it's fully, configurable. Now let me do something. Let's try to do a very let's try to act some like we are a threat actor and trying to change the password of this. It should not be done. The password should be managed by PAM. The user should not be able to. So when I try to rotate the password or change the password of a live session, what happens? You'll see the auditing has begun and this is forbidden and you will be logged off and I'll be thrown out of the session just like that. And again, a very good utility to have, because if you can control what users can do and if you can easily detect if there is any threatening behavior or risky behavior, you will be able to not just block the session, but you'll also even be able to block the user if you want to. And all those are easily configurable actions. These are certain use cases. I'll go to one more use case before we jump into the question Q&A. We'll talk about a third-party access here. Now, what is a third-party access? Third-party access is you have list of your vendors, third-party vendors, okay, who needs the access to your critical assets, right? Now, the problem for the third-party users is that you need to provide them VPN access, give them the credential to log in, or publish your critical access system on the DMZ or something, right? So you don't need to do that here. What happens is you define your vendors and you can control that. So let me come to a specific vendor, which I typically use for. So you see, this is the vendor. I want to show you certain things here. So what kind of controls I am putting here? First thing is that for how long this vendor is active, limited users, the part of the vendors, the users who are there, users who can be admin for this vendor, and from which location they can log in. So I can say that restrict this user to log in from a specific, uh, specific country. So only from this country and only from only these two countries. The users can only log in from these two countries. No one else can log in. So they will be restricted to this place only. So if they go to some other country and they want to log in from there, they cannot. So it's that easy. Let me remove these. I don't want. And then review and save it. The vendor is created. Once the vendor is created, I have a user here. So I have this specific user. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to request something for this user. I'm going to request some access for this user. So I'm going to see this third-party workforce, remote workforce, continue. I'm assigning a specific asset, let's say this Red Hat server, add. To access this server, there needs to be a credential. So I'm going to provide this credential for them. And I will say they can start session. I'm not giving them view password option here. Now observe carefully the options next. This is something which you need to define. For how long you want to provide this access? 1 hour, 1 day, 1 minute, 1 month, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, up to you. You can provide this access for as long as possible. So I'm providing this access for 3 months. The user can start the session anytime, in that day, anytime, okay, and he can take as many sessions he wants. All these are configurable and controllable. So continue and save. Now, what we have done is we've created the vendor, we have created the user with the access. The next part is very simple. You come to request access. third-party users, and you just forward the URL. Once you forward the URL, the user will get an email, something like this. Let me see if I have. User will get an email, something like this. It will say that your access have been approved from this time to this time, and you can click here or take this dynamic link to access. I can simply click here. Now, but for the first time, the user will configure the 2FA, and you see my email address is this. Based on this, I'll have my 2FA here. Let this come up. Again, apologies for my internet connectivity today. This will be the final use case, and after that, I would want to take some questions. So let me log in here. And again, something which you need to observe carefully here, you will see some features, some options. If you see here that the user already has access to some of the servers, and there are some new credentials, for how long he has access to these credentials, and let's say one of the access is expiring, you can place the request of extension. Now let me launch this session. We gave the access to this local credential here, so I will launch this session. And you will see that the session would start here on the browser itself. And again, this is fully recorded. And you see, you are not giving any username and password to that user. You don't need to create any VPN account. You don't need to publish this. And all this from the same platform. Think about the overhead, the amount of time you spend to manage this solution. How easy is it for your team and for yourself? The cost of infrastructure which you are saving. And these are some of the aspects which we talk about. Again, all the same controls uh, which we saw still applies. Again, if the user tries to, you will be thrown out of the session if you see the session disconnect. I hope this was useful. I would want to take some questions which can actually help you. So please let me know if you have any questions. Let's go with any questions if you have.
Okay, thank you, Imroves. That's a very good demo. Very creative ways of giving access to users. Дэмонууд нь ойлгомжтой байсан байх гэж бодож байна. Юзерүүдэд ямар төрлийн access-үүдийг яаж өгдөг, ямар олон арга замууд байдгуудыг танилцууллаа. Та асуултаа бол хэлээрэй. Тэгээд бас энэ демогоос нэмэлтээр харах хүсэлтэй зүйл байвал бас хэлээрэй.
There are some other aspects of that of privilege access management which we need to think about is what happens in future once your critical accesses are beyond human identities, right? Those human identities can be your certificates, those can be your secrets in your code, right? Those can be your API keys. All these are critical entities, right? You should be able to manage them from the same thing, right? So if your solution is scalable for that, that is something which you need to think, because PAM is something which everyone knows, right? Yes, we are simplifying it, making it lean, but what about my future needs? The infrastructure would change. The AI and development microservices will keep coming up. So this is also a few things which you need to ponder about, think about. That will the solution scale to that, or is the my solution ready for future identities? That's something which we need to think about.
So there's some questions coming. Someone is asking whether you can show the web admin on router.
Oh yes, sure. I
Mm,
will. Let me. Yeah, I did not show that. Let me log in again back. I just and I'll show it to you. One of the very complicated web session, AWS itself. AWS is very complicated login. They have multiple fields to log in and show. So just give me 1 second and let me log in there. I think it.
and the same person is asking whether it supports Ubuntu, Debian, and other distributions.
That George can answer that. He will have more visibility on that distribution part and all. You're talking about partnerships, right? Partnering with. Let me first show you this web session part itself. Like I have, if you observe carefully, I have this AWS access, right? So AWS access again, I can start this session on the browser itself. Okay, and after showing this, I will show you something else. How easy is it to configure also? Unlike many other PAM solutions in the market, which requires RDS server or some other complicated configurations using auto IT and all, here it's very easy. So again, my internet is pretty slow here. It should have already loaded, but just wait for a few more seconds. You see here, it started. Now the credential injection has started. Now you see it has a AWS IAM name, account name, the username, the password, and then MFA. And all those things will be automatically injected, and the session will log in. You see, it started, and the login has happened, and this session is fully recorded again. So this is a security aspect. So most probably because of that, it's asking me to click here. However, this session has started, and this is fully recorded. Now, how is this configured? How are the fields of this are easily configured? I will show it to you. But let me first jump into the live session to show it to you the live recording. This is live recording. Let me just maximize it a little more. So you see right now I'm here and you will see this is live. Whatever I'm doing, this is fully live recording. Now we need to see how the web session is configured, right? This is something which sorry, I'm at the wrong field here. Come to the web session automation and to the AWS configuration, web session configuration. So an example of this is here. Observe carefully all the fields here. Okay, I'm resolving the input and putting it in the username field, and then I'm clicking on the next button. Okay, in that I'm putting the password, I'm signing in the button, then MFA code, and you see every time where I'm filling clicking it. Okay, all those are fully configurable items. You just need the URL, You need to define the way these behavior, and from where you pick up these things. This you pick up from the developer tool of the browser. Any simple. Just do the F5, go pick up each aspect from the HTML code and put it here. And all this configuration should not take more than 5 to 10 minutes. So say you have 15, 20 web applications, all those can be finished in 4 or 5 hours maximum. Hope this makes sense.
Okay.
Hope that answers your question.
So this person who asked for web admin on the router, he's asking whether it supports Ubuntu and Debian. I'm guessing these are operating systems. Does it support them?
Yeah. So basically, if the question is about the web sessions across on the network devices, firewalls, and all, yes, we support all the web systems. And yes, if the browser is supported on that operating system, yes. An example, I have Harmony OS, right? And Harmony OS Chrome browser works, and from the browser I can start this service. There's no problem. Yes, it does support. Traditionally, any Chromium-based browser is fully supported for this. And again, we need to think about this particular part where you are fully avoiding the need of the RDS server. You don't need to publish the browser and then define the complete parameters and all, right? So that's again saves a lot of effort and cost in terms of the implementation.
Okay. За. Саний асуултууд нь хариулт авч чадсан болов уу?